In large segments of the Christian church today, there has developed the practice of ordaining women as ministers and placing them in positions to lead, teach, and preach to congregations of both men and women.
The first time I went to the Bible school was number one when we were about 6 ladies, 1977, in the theological college, Kalimosi. And the men were looking at us that we have gone there to tempt them. And we said, God, when you have called us, we want to show men that we can also move forward. God does not call men alone. He calls those people who humble themselves to do His will.
Theology is for the people of God. Theology is not for exclusive club of
The ordination of women pastors has become increasingly commonplace.
We have Angeline Savara. Angeline Savara, where are you? Yes. I am here.
Angeline Savara is the one from the Free Methodist.
Yes. And we have Reverend Rahab Karaoke. Reverend Rahab Karaoke is also pioneering in this ministry, and she will tell us in which way she is pioneering. And we have Margaret Obaga, waiting for 15 years. We celebrate you, Margaret. We love you. Please come forward. And we are giving you just a short time, please.
The New Testament reveals a wide variety of spiritual gifts and ministries for Christian women. While Jesus did not ordain anyone, He did call both women and men to discipleship. In the Gospel of St. Luke, chapter 8 from verses 1 to 3, we find Mary Magdalene, Joanna, and Susanna among women who traveled with Jesus and supported His ministry from their own resources. That these women are mentioned by name is significant.
Now while Jesus was at Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, a woman came to him with an alabaster jar of very costly ointment, and she poured it on his head as he sat at the table. But when the disciples saw it, they were angry and said, "Why this waste? For this ointment could have been sold for a large sum, and the money given to the poor." But Jesus said, aware of this, said to them, "Why do you trouble the woman? She has performed a good service for me. For you always have the poor with you, but you will not always have me. By pouring this ointment on my body, she has prepared me for burial. Truly, I tell you, wherever this good news is proclaimed in the whole world, what she has done will be told in remembrance of her." Matthew, Mark, Luke do not tell us the name of that woman, but they tell us what she did. When we get to the Gospel of John, we are told she is Mary, the sister of Martha and Lazarus.
One of the very first women to be ordained in Kenya within the church leadership is Reverend Dr. Nyambura Njoroge. 30 years ago, Dr. Nyambura, a Presbyterian minister and a leading theologian and a eucheminist, was ordained as pastor in the Presbyterian Church of East Africa. This was a significant milestone in the rise of women within the church leadership in Kenya.
Ever leave you alone. I thank God because of the days we were fighting, wanting, praying to be there when she gets anointed or whatever you call it in the ministry, because she had a calling. But let me tell you, she was the first woman to be ordained a pastor in my Presbyterian church. We need to ask God to help us to interpret the times. Gone are the days where we said, well, we are just a church. I wish I had time, because the way I began in my ministry, I was serving with a coup to tendresse people. And when they looked at me, they criticized my hair, they criticized my dressing. At the end of the day, I had to go and match my headscarf and my dressing. Because they could not accept me the way I was. I was too modern for them.
And there are many of us who are discouraged because things are very difficult in the church. I think there are few people who are difficult, but to me the church has been the best place to be. So what I did is to create space, to negotiate for those positions where these decisions are made. Because if you are not in the standing committee, and if you are not in the clergy chapter, you will not make decisions. So personally, was to negotiate with the men, so that I am pushed to those positions, so that we talk about terms of services, so that you can be where things are being shared. So I encourage my sisters, don't miss opportunities. Many of us opportunities come, and we leave them because we don't want to look odd.
Had failed, but he was ordained. Also, they were to be under somebody so that they can serve. But me, I was given a ministry so that I can do it in the church. But despite that, the fact that I was not ordained, I could not be given the salary equivalent to what I was doing. So I refused to take that salary. And I was, they didn't expect a woman to talk to the synod or to the committee concerned so that you can ask questions about your salary. And I stayed for about 3 months without accepting it until the synod concluded I'm not called like the way men are. But I did my work.
Dr. Nyambura is a Presbyterian minister and a leading theologian and ecumenist from Kenya. She is also the program executive of the Ecumenical HIV and AIDS Initiative in Africa of the World Council of Churches in Geneva, Switzerland. To celebrate these 3 decades of ordination, Dr. Nyambura invited a forum of other women church leaders who are also making a significant impact in Kenya to celebrate with her at the All Saints Cathedral in Nairobi.
But even as we celebrate, because it is time to celebrate the good things that Christ has done for us. But we need to remember where we have come from.
The launch of the celebration was on Tuesday, the 21st day of August, 2012.
I'm hoping as we celebrate, we will have a forum where we can engage our brothers. They are our sons, they are our brothers, they are our beloved husbands, grandfathers, uncles. We can't throw them out. This is our space today as we strategize, but we should bring them on board.
And we all have something to say because we've been involved either as clearing the bush, mowing the path, or even doing the .com tarmacking. But at the same time, we have only today to start the launch, and this will set the tone of many other things that we are going to be doing.
To begin with, when I look at what is my specific work, I sum it in a nutshell that my work is to make God known. And I echo the words of John Wesley, who once said, "The world is my parish." So wherever I am, I purpose that a soul will come to know Christ as the Lord and Savior.
There I'm a priest in the war. This is based in Deuteronomy chapter 20. When the Israelites would go for war, the priest was among them. And I am among them as a priest to encourage them and to tell them the role they are playing. It is God's mandate, and we have to be strong and courageous.
You have to address the issues to them. And then when you address, they can think about it. And also you have to get solutions for the same issues. And by that one, the respect will come because of what you are doing. But as already, sincerely, even my sisters here, you have to be very prepared.
Let me tell you, serving God is something that I can tell you that you'll never go hungry, you'll never thirst, you will always be happy.
As you know, the church leadership in Kenya has been majorly men. It has been mainly men, and with only recently the space being occupied by women. And even then, women are just tokenism in most of these churches. In this last decade, we have experienced large numbers of women training in theological education, and also large numbers of women being ordained, especially in the mainstream churches. You heard in the session that we've had now large numbers of women in the MPC church being ordained. So for us, those of us who are in the organizing committee, it was really looking back and seeing where we have come from. One of the most significant things that inspired us is that Nyambura, who has mentored most of us, Dr. Nyamba Njoroge, she was actually ordained 30 years this September. So this September she will be 30 years in ordained ministry. She was the first Presbyterian woman to be ordained. And before, actually, there were very few Kenyans, even from other denominations, who are ordained. And as maybe you have gathered, she did not stay in the space alone. She worked very hard to make sure that other women were educated, were theologically educated. Women found their space in church by providing scholarships, by mentoring and all that. So when we recalled all this, then we thought, if it's 30 years, we need to celebrate. But also it was significant because it's also 30 years that HIV has been around. So we are saying alongside our celebration, we have also had the baggage of things bugging us like HIV and things like that.
If women would say they want to go to church, some of the churches would be closed. And so church is a very good place to address HIV to women. And since for a long time the church has been addressing it, but in a stigmatizing way. It has been making women to be more vulnerable. It has been making women to run away from the church. And so I think the best way is to change its model. The church needs to change its model in handling or in responding to HIV so that it can be able to contain people who are living HIV positive in the church and consider them as capable people and human beings, not just sympathizing with them.
One thing that it has brought many women together, different women's, different culture. It has brought the old and the new together. And at least we can see where we are coming from and where we are going. So we have achieved a lot of sharing and a lot of listening stories that were shared in the group. It is touching everybody.
It's very important to have women together because now many women are ordained or are in the process of getting ordained. And there are many stories about the hardships and the challenges. And it is just good to come together and to encourage each other to see how far have we come, what have we accomplished together, and what are the challenges and how should we continue. But that you also celebrate what you have already achieved. And I think that's very important. And to listen to each other's stories, so that you are really feeling sisterhood instead of struggling each in your own place.
Many women who have been in leadership, both in the Old Testament and in the New Testament, what you find in the New Testament, especially the Gospels, is that the women followed Jesus, but they were not necessarily called disciples. But at the end of the day, they were actually more present when Jesus needed them than the male disciples. So it's not so much what they were called, but how they responded to the good news that Jesus brought. Also in the scriptures you find that they are the Gospels. If you really follow how Jesus dealt with women, there were no barriers. He broke the barriers, and in some cases it was very emphatic, like the passage we were using today. He didn't agree with the men who were rebuking the woman who was anointing him. So we take that as an example of Jesus opening the door for women. We have theologians and missionaries like Paul, who are stuck with the cultural aspects. And that's where you find the scripture saying women should not do this or the other. But when we go back to the Gospels, we find that Jesus always opens the door for us. So Jesus is our friend.
It is envisaged that this celebration will continue and be an annual event to recognize the women who, in their own ways, make significant impact to the Kenyan society as they rise up the ranks of church leadership in various denominations in Kenya.